Good afternoon, late afternoon to you guys in Australia. So, if you haven't already, hey Tanya, how you doing? Tanya, I'm going to message you after this, by the way. I'm going to message you, Natalie, Lauren, all you guys doing the WBFF live, sorry, the WBFF, I can't even remember what it's called now. World Tour, online World Tour. It's coming up. You've got to get those videos submitted. But welcome back onto another episode of Tom Brazier Interviews. But today I'm super happy and excited to be joined by WBFF two-time world champion figure model Asha Coulthard. I'm just waiting for her to get online, and then we can commence this interview. As I said, of course, I want to talk about fitness, and of course, I want to talk about diet and nutrition and training, all that kind of jazz. But these interviews are really more about getting behind the mindset, getting behind the mind of a champion. I had Hattie Boydell on a couple of days ago. I've got Seb Orb coming up on, oh, when is he coming on? Next Wednesday. I've got Amy Rebecca coming up on Monday, so stay tuned. But today it's all about Asha, so I'm just about to invite her in and get her on the live feed. If I can remember, I always forget how to fucking do this. Here we go. Asha, please accept because we are going live to the population. Waiting for her to accept. How are you guys this morning anyway? All you guys in the UK, all you guys in Australia. Oh, hello. Hold on, you're frozen, Asha. Hold on, wait. Waiting to update. There we go. There she is. How you doing? I'm good. I'm good. How is? Good morning. Yeah, I've literally just climbed off. Hence why I'm wearing the beanie. I haven't showered yet. Apologies. How things over in Gold Coast? Yeah. Well, it's different. It's different everywhere, right? But is it really miserable? I mean, is the sun shining? Oh, serious? God, throw throw back to the last time I was there, 2018, when it was a hella storm. Jesus, never seen rain like it. Ridiculous. And that was the first Gold Coast Pro Am back in 2018. But how are things with you, Ash? In terms of being on lockdown, come on, give me a brief. We're going to talk about this a little bit later on. We're going to run through the interview, of course, the questions, delve into a little bit of your history. But what's the current climate at the moment over in Gold Coast? Are you guys on lockdown completely? You're on your curfew, or what's going on? Oh shit! Where are you going to walk Zep? Okay, right. Okay, but what about where do you walk Zep now? Okay. Ah, that's a shame. Definitely a beach putt, that one. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's awake, so it's a good thing. Eat like for dogs, it's like the best thing ever. Like they're getting walked more times than ever. They're getting snacks. They're getting their owners there like 24/7. They're loving life at the moment. But Ash, what are you doing for training at the moment in terms of have you got stuff set up at home? Nice. Cool. Well, that's 2016. Ah, yes, of course, I forgot. How's that recovering? Oof. When's it gonna legs are it. Legs and glutes, that's all you're allowed to do. When are you gonna be fully recovered? Jeez, how long's that been? It must have been like almost what, 5 months? Jesus. And it was a cut, right? It was a cut on a cup or a glass. Fuck. Oh my goodness. That literally makes me shiver. Well, I don't know. Having the reflections to catch the cup, unfortunately, you probably just crushed it with the mighty hands. I mean, that's what happened, right? Okay, Ash. So we're going to talk about. I'm ready through what we're going to talk about today. I want to go through like all these interviews have been, of course, like two-time WBFF figure world champion. We're definitely going to dive into that. I mean, everyone's interested in that, but I really want to kind of like these interviews are more about kind of picking the past and kind of seeing what defines you as a person, like mindset of a champion, all that kind of jazz. So I want to run through first of all your childhood. Like you grew up in now let me get this pronunciation right. Meningi? Is that Meningi? But born in Meningi, but you grew up in Alice Springs, right? Or you moved there when you were 7? Okay. Tintinara. And this is the first 7 years of your life, right? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Been there. I've been to Alice Springs. Part of my traveling tour. I just remember one bar that served crocodile meat. That was interesting. That was my first introduction. But Alice Springs, I'm sure, has changed immensely since. I mean, we're talking about 2001 when I was there. Really? So what was so you moved to Alice Springs when you were 7, right? What was your childhood like in Meningi? Oh, sorry, in what was the name of the town? Tintinara. Yeah, yeah. Because your parents still manage ranches, right? Yeah, yeah, cattle station. I mean, it's mind blowing to me, and I know it may be slightly common for you guys in Australia, but for anyone in the UK, like the size of these things are just phenomenal, and the amount of cattle that they look after is just ridiculous. It's just mind blowing. And were you involved in that? Because back in the day, like I remember our conversations about like literally your dad bringing like fresh cow in for literally just being slaughtered, like get you going for a week, getting your protein in, like it was that much kind of a rural life, right? Sorry guys, but oh Jesus, the kid, right? Oof, well, it's where all the nutrients are, right? Well, it's certainly like 30 how many years later, it certainly hasn't had any negative effects anyway. But actually, if you had to like, so how was Alice Springs? Like, what was different about Alice Springs when you moved there when you were 7? Because I think when you started gymnastics when you moved to Alice Springs, is that correct? Yeah. And what got you into that? Okay. So it was literally just a case of, yeah, yeah, because like you were good at it, right? Very good at it. And you did that for from the age, yeah. Wow. It's yeah, and it's so like I was speaking to Hattie the other day, speaking to Steph, and three like world champions, one world figure model world champion, two fitness model world champions, all have a very similar childhood in terms of sports, athletics, gymnastics especially. And I was saying to Hattie, like it's just like dealing with someone and bringing some to stage or bringing yourself to stage when you've had a history of like gymnastics and that kind of stability, that strength, the amount of training volume you used to do back then. I mean, generally a lot of it was calisthenics, but it literally just, when I see someone or hear someone that's successful in the fitness world in later life, 8 times out of 10, they always have a gymnastics background, like gymnastics, dance, and yeah, it's ridiculous. It really builds a, yeah, massively, massively. But so you did, so that was from, I think you quit or you just kind of gave up or you had enough at the age of 16 and that's when you came out of like talk me through that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Continue to coach gymnastics. Okay. So what kind of did you work with the up and coming, like the young like the 7, 8 year olds of your past? Because you literally won quite a few competitions. You represented Northern Territory all around Australia, right? Yeah. Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you're pretty busy elsewhere, Asha. One step at a time. So talk me through the I mean it wasn't back then. I mean I know you've made no qualms about this and you speak about it a lot on social media and through interviews you've done in the past, but like when alcohol kind of like came into your life, I don't feel it was like a negative at first. It was just kind of a natural progression at that age. Like everyone wants to kind of go out with their friends and start like is that kind of how it started? Yeah, right. Yes. And but this was a move to Darwin, right? Like we're talking jumping the gun a little bit. This was moved to Darwin when you went to into dental nursing. Was that at 18? Okay, still there. Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like a yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, so the move to Adelaide was essentially for love. Is that correct? Yeah. Like kind of childhood sweetheart, guy you've known for a long time. Yeah. Well, well, no risk, no reward, but it unfortunately didn't work out as you hoped, as you expected. It turned into a little bit of a trauma, a little bit of a negative. Am I right? Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And was it a point of because a lot of stories like this, you hear it's literally just it's a it's a sudden thing. You wake up and you just say, I don't want this anymore. Like this is not what I want. And then it's almost like an immediate choice from then. Was that something that similar that happened to you? Mm. Yeah. Did you stay like were you staying pretty quiet? Did you keep this to yourself, or did your family know this was going on for quite a while, or was it quite a surprise to them? Yeah. 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 But like the positives to take out, the strength you had within you to actually move on, because a lot of people don't. Yeah. 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 Mm. But so you moved on. Well, you moved on. You got out of it. Like you stayed in Adelaide. Is it correct? You got stayed in Adelaide. You found a house. Okay. Yeah. And did your sister move? Yeah, I think it's like I've spoken to a lot of like Steph, Hattie, a lot of the people I've interviewed, and Kerry as well. Steph's husband. He had a very kind of like he had a rough cup, a rough 10 years, and it's that question of, you don't. If that didn't happen, would you be the person you are today? Like everyone has trials, everyone has tribulations. Some a lot worse than others, but of course it defines you as an adult, and it makes us who we are today. Of course, of course, of course. But did your sister move down from Alice Springs to Adelaide to buy a house with you? Was that where she lived? But in Adelaide, so she effectively moved from Alice Springs to Adelaide to be with you. Ah, okay. Right. Okay, got it. Got it. And okay. Yeah. Hi. So the Adelaide was, I mean, Adelaide essentially was your home for what, 10 years? Must be about that. Close to? Close. Okay. But you, yeah. And moving on to the time, so what kind of year was this? What kind of year did you buy the house in Adelaide? Okay, perfect. So this leads us, yeah, massively, which I want to talk about now, getting more into kind of the competition side of things. So this is the first year. Well, this is when gym, yeah, I mean gym, but the kind of competition. I think it was your coach, Coach Gabe. You talk about him a lot. Like he was in Adelaide, you got introduced to him, and that kind of changed your life, and it was a massive stepping stone. You look back to it with massive like positives. Yeah, 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 mm, yeah. Yeah. Ash, you're just breaking up a little bit. I think it's just like I can still kind of hear you. You're just breaking up a little bit. Ash, can you still hear me? Yeah. Okay, guys, we just lost Asha. I think she was having a little bit of an issue with her Wi-Fi connection, so I'm going to wait, wait till she comes back. Um, let's wait till she comes back. Okay, let's see if we can get her back. See if we can get her back. I missed the last like 3 4 minutes of that, so I hope she's going to explain. She's back. There she is. I think it was yours. I think it was absolutely yours. No. Yeah, exactly, it's a storm. But look at the weather outside. It's beautiful here. Like we can only blame Australia for this. I'm sorry. You guys win in far too much other things. Like London's gonna win in the Wi-Fi connection. So going back because I missed literally when we started talking about so you got out the gym, um, basically texted him and said, right, I'm game. He sent you a list of stuff and stuff like that. But you're so just talk me through this phase because you didn't really like did you start when did you start weight training, Asha? Like because even through the prep, I think it was a 4 week prep for the IFBB show, the first show, you didn't like it was more kind of glute and plyometric and cardio based, like low calories. Like, were you lifting? Like your understanding of lifting now, of course, obviously, like the way we see Asha train, like what's the comparable between what you were doing when you first went for your first competition? Yeah. Did right. So are you saying like if bang yeah. So if Bang Energy was around back then, they'd probably want to have sponsored you, right? Exactly. Yeah, yeah. But it was IFBB bikini, so it was and but you had structure. I mean, you did if you as I was saying before, you did you did gymnastics as a child. Like, did you generally have a athletic structure to your physique as a child and growing up? Yeah. Are you serious? So it was really, yeah. So it was really just a fact of like for your first competition, like leaning out. That's what you needed to do. Yeah. And 4 weeks into your first competition, which you won, I believe. Can you still hear me, Asha? Just about. Okay, I'm losing you again. I'm losing you again. Ashley, do you want to try switching to 4G and see if it's any better? Okay, I've lost you completely. Ashley, if you can still hear me, I've lost you completely. Are you back? Can you hear me? I'm losing you all the time. Can you try switching to 4G? Maybe that instead of Wi-Fi? Yeah. I can't pick up on you at all. I can hear dips and dabs like you're kind of like square panels at the moment. Oh, she's gone again. Okay. Sorry for the internet troubles, but we're just trying to gonna get it back. Mhm. Do, 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 do. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. She will be back, and I'm still blaming it on her Wi-Fi, not mine. There she is. I'm gonna get her back. Mhm. Mhm. Do, 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 do. Okay, connecting, connecting. She's back. Hi, Asha. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's see what's going on. And you've made your way outside, so it's a nice sunny environment. Okay. But so again, you turned to square bricks. I couldn't really hear you at all. Like your first competition you won, the IFBB. Okay, nice. And then pretty much I think you did how many IFBB shows did you do in total? Like 20 something? Or not 29 shows. Oh, you did everything. Wow. But lost or like play second? Mindset of a champion. Anything other than first? But that's including the WBFF, right? So when did you have a time as a when you were doing IPB? Did you always have to kind of stay that similar kind of figure that you were when, of course, developing on what you brought to your first show? But did you lift seriously like through your IPB career? Okay, right. And what? Okay. So what is downsizing for you? Right. Yeah. Pretty big. Oh wow. So did you take time off for it during that period? And was there anything driving that massive blowout, or like anything emotionally, or right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so that was back in 2015. So went back. Yeah. Okay. Back into the IFBB. Yeah. 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 So this is it, right? Like, I guess we're going to talk about the WBFF later, but you kind of lost a bit of love or a bit of kind of motivation with the IFBB for the fact that you won everything there was to win, and they still wouldn't give you a pro card because back then it was very, very tough to get an IFBB pro card. Yeah, super hard. And I guess harder in Australia than it would have been in the States with NPC and stuff like that, or yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's a lot different now, and for the positive as well. But yeah, there was a couple of cliches back in kind of pre 2019 days. But so you migrated. You did your last competition with with the IFBB in what would have been 2016 or 2017. 17, right? And you took and but that year 2017 was no 2018 was. Did you take a year off after then? Yeah. That was your first. Oh shit! Yeah, of course. WBFF show in October. I was thinking that I was a year late. So that was the was that the pro am? Okay, but was that the Gold Coast show? Okay, but that was 2018, right? 17. 17, 2018 was your first Worlds win. I'm completely behind on this. Like, yeah, I should know this. So 2018, 2017 October, you won your WF Pro card. How did you find stepping on stage? I mean, to be honest, like stepping on an Australian WBFF stage is massive. Like you're almost like diving in at the deep end because the level of physiques from like in amateur consistently, like the May shows, the October shows, the Sydney shows, they're always very, very busy shows, and the quality and the amount of crazy physiques is nuts. Like it's very different to stepping on like a European or a like an American amateur WBFF stage because it's just so popular out there, and it is popular everywhere. But just WBFF Australia just seems to be growing, growing, growing. But how did you find stepping on and the whole kind of like prep and like, did you have an idea of like I know you said in the past you always look up to Hattie, and you've always like it was like one of the drivers for the WBFF because you wanted to step on stage with Hattie, right? Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 And that was certainly something that you brought to the October show, something very, very unique. I remember that's when you first came on my radar, and I remember seeing an Instagram shared, I think, by W Australia, and I was just like, holy shit. Like that is impressive. So 2018, 2017, how did you feel stepping on stage? Like the whole WBFF, it's not kind of standardized posing. It's like you're free to like really bring out what you want to bring to the stage. Like, was that something that you felt awkward with at first, or was it did you take to that very naturally? Yeah. 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 But you got your pro card in fitness. In fitness. Yeah. And then transition from there, you kind of got the bug for the WBFF. And then October, November, what was it, like 7 months later, stepping on the WBFF LA Pro Am stage in April 2018 and taking out the competition, placing second in fitness and first in figure. Like, how did that feel for you? Like, when you were going into the competition, like, did you know? Of course, you knew you had a good chance. I mean, you can't deny the fact that you know what you're bringing to the stage. And but were you fairly humble going into it, or you're like, I want to, like, I'm going in for the win, and that's nothing else. Yeah, yeah. So spur of the moment registration, but an absolutely positive one. I think the word came down from boss man himself, Paul Dillette. I was like, this girl needs to do figure. Yeah. But to be honest, actually, you like for me, you were the start of almost like a new league of figure because I spoke about this a lot before. Like the figure category was very lost, and it wasn't that popular purely for the fact that people didn't view it the right way. Like for me and the WBFF, you were just a massive blessing for the figure category, and I definitely think that's why Paul really wanted to get into the figure because you winning the LA show and it was kind of like, okay, this is, well, you weren't world champion back then, but think the stars were starting to align. But it was a massive positive for the figure category because previously the figure category was quite lost in terms of like what people view. They're like, when the times of like Rachel White, a very muscular physique. We've got Mish here in the UK, like a more slender but very defined and conditioned physique. Like that, it was a very very mixed bag, and it was really hard to define the figure category. But I think when you came in, like for me, you really took the figure category to a new level, and you're one of the main reasons why it's getting more and more popular. Because essentially now the figure category is literally just a more muscular fitness girl. That's it. And fitness girls are getting too muscular now. They are. We're trying to like force them into figure. But 2018 LA Pro Am in the bag, second in fitness, and of course taking the figure model crown, and then step forward another 5 months and step onto the world stage in Vegas. Not only like the best place to compete, right? Was that your first time in Vegas? No, it wasn't your first time in Vegas. But how was that? Like, how was going to Vegas and the whole kind of competition edge, the lead up, the registration, like the media day? Like, how did was this a real new experience for you? Yeah. Mm, for sure. For sure. Mm, yeah. It's massive, right? I mean, of course, like Worlds Anywhere is great. Bahamas was super fun, but starting off like my kind of when I well, back in the Stone Age when I competed 2013, that was my first Worlds in Vegas, and that was our first ever Worlds in Vegas for the WBFF. And for me, it's just like Vegas competing, like it's never gonna like end in my memory. And when we got to go back there in 2018, it was phenomenal. Like it was such a good year. But so come away with the world's win. Like, did you expect? I want to say, did you expect to step off with the world's crown? Like, did you have? Oh, you did? What? Even on the day? But were you doubting yourself on the day? Like when you walked out on stage, were you think, shit, I've got second here? Or was this kind of a lead up thing? Yeah. Oh, massively. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And how? Oh yeah, for sure. I think, but everyone, champion or not, previous champion or whatever, everyone has their doubts. Um, but you'd never have told that on stage. Like for me, you just look confident, you looked happy, you looked ridiculous. Um, in terms of what was I going to say to you there? But in terms of the time after, like in Vegas, you obviously got to enjoy it a little bit of time after your world's win before heading back to Australia. And how like talk about the posing. Like I think you worked with Toby leading up to the World show. Oh yeah, the LA. And how much of that, how much of importance was that in terms of posing from your 2017 Pro Card win to your your LA show and world champion in Vegas? Yeah, but it's just I think yeah, and it's about yeah, mm, mm, yeah. Yeah, for sure. But it's you just understand how important like posing and stage presence is within the WBFF when you actually start to get into. Because I think a lot of people get into the WBFF, I think especially Australia, because they generally come from other federations, and they've already got ridiculous physiques already, and they come into the WBFF and they're like they just don't put enough into posing, and it kind of really shows on stage. But of course, after their first show, they understand. They're like, okay, this is what I need to get done. This is going to elevate me from placing third to placing first, or just missing out my pro card to getting my pro card. So, yeah, it's an often, not so much anymore, but definitely previously it was an often overlooked part of because everyone just wants to train, wants to diet, they want to kind of bring in their physique. Yeah, but exactly. And then moving through, like in terms of the physique you brought to 2019, sorry, 2018 for the Vegas, and then competing again for your second world win in 2019 in the Bahamas. Like, how did you need to change? Like, did you feel like I know you had a few kind of like health issues uh, between 2008, 2018, 2019? Like, did you feel the need to change your physique, or was it literally just about maintaining and trying to bring a better package to 2019 show? Okay. Well, the wrong people, the right people would call you like ridiculously lean. Okay. How did you find the Bahamas? Mm, yeah, I think finding it's yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure, right? Hey, what other beach has roaming pigs to like swim with and stuff like that? I mean, I think that was a main driver for most people going over. So what I saw on the Instagrams, they're like, yeah, I'm looking forward to competing, but pigs on a beach, like that shit is far out. But obviously, yeah, it was great. I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's everything's set up, everything functions, and it's kind of like Vegas in terms of like, you know, gambling, like a hotel, like the casinos and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all good. So Asha, moving on. What is in the pipeline right now for Asha Coulthard? Of course, being the current climate is a little bit harder to kind of plan, but you're still looking after your team Asha. Like, how are all your girls doing in this time? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. It is tough. But I think it's kind of the people I've spoken to with like clients, coaches. It's yeah, it's more about the kind of like keeping their mind in the game and keeping their mindset right at the moment, rather than kind of yeah, of course, people transition to home workouts. There's a lot lack of equipment, but to be honest, like we're spoiled by the amount of equipment and what we have access to in terms of our fitness lives and stuff like that. So it's just adapting. But it's really like, the girls who were supposed to compete, for example, like the Gold Coast and Sydney, like these have all been pushed back. So it's to start a prep and get like 8, 10 weeks in and then figure out that you're not going to coach, like, sorry, you're not going to compete. That's pretty tough. And it's very hard to kind of pick yourself up and think, okay, what do I have to like maintain, or can I just like, take a couple of months off? And, it's very hard to kind of like, and that's where a coach comes in, like yourself, to really just tell them, okay, things are fine. This is what we're going to do. This is our plan. We will get out of this, and you will be on stage towards the end of the year with possibly or potentially or definitely a better physique. Yeah, 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 yeah. It 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 exactly. It is what it is. There's nothing we can do to change it. So just look at the positives that will come from this rather than the negatives, and we'll get through this. But in terms of Asher, what's anything in the pipeline? Anything next? Possibility of worlds this year? Taking a year off? Like, where's your head at? Okay, I missed that announcement. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, I don't think any of us do actually. Like we all, yeah, the people who have planned to do the worlds, people who have planned to do even shows in October, we just don't know. But the fact is, of course, you decided to, take a year off, focus on business. I can't imagine that the issue with the finger is like was very motivating to consider even competing, having to take such a long time off different types of training. But it's something that the people who are competing through even like June, July, potentially like I think June is still up in the air, but probably we don't know. But you can't take your foot off the gas. You've got to take things as they're going to happen. Otherwise, I just think like mindset starts to change and negativity comes in. It's not a good a brain space to actually get through this current climate with. Yeah, yeah. I'm coming over for that. I changed my flights from the I was supposed to come over for the May show, but I managed to change my flights for the Pro Am. So back and hope that goes away because I haven't been I missed out on Australia last year. I'm not going to miss out on it this year massively. Fucking shit. Fingers crossed. Come on, world. Let's expel this coronavirus and let's get on with this. Fingers crossed. True. Exactly. Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, Asha. I've asked all my questions. What do you got? What time is it over there? It's coming up to 6 p.m., right? What do you got planned this evening? Chill out, lockdown life. Okay, you're going to train today. What what's on the cards? Oh, really? Again? I'm surprising. What do you get? Are you getting any are you getting any cardio? Are you getting your steps in at the moment? Like you staying fairly active? Oh, wow. How the hell did you? How did you get that? Those things are like, wow. Is is that looking out the window, or is it facing a TV? Oh, jeez. I'd have Netflix on. I'd get it facing the TV. Oh, fair enough. All right, Asha, I'm going to let you go because you got to go train, and we're coming up to the hour when I seem to get cut off all the time. But first of all, thank you for joining my live IG. It's been wicked to speak to you. I know everyone watching has got some great gold, and it's really nice to kind of like get behind the person, like not just talk about the current, like talk about your childhood. And I've learned things. I'm sure all your followers and my followers have as well. And I hope it just yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. And I think it really this kind of stuff is just that anything motivational, anything that kind of like helps people at this time is like a massive positive, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. And to be honest, I wanted to do this kind of stuff for ages, but thankfully, well, I say thankfully, but with a more time on my hands now, it's just wicked, and I'm super happy, super thankful for you to come on. But Asha, have a great evening. Train hard. Another leg session. I'm sure I'll see you very soon. I'll speak to you soon. But have a great evening. Cheers, guys. Bye bye. Oh, puppy. Oh, puppy, puppy, puppy.